Welcome back to the channel, folks. And to be honest, today was the first day where I was like, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. Nothing was kind of coming to mind. And then I just went and got my hair cut, I know, looking fresh, also looking a little bit red. And I was having a conversation with my barber and a couple of the other boys in the shop, and I realized that's what I need to talk about. Procrastination. Wow, big old word, eh? One we're very familiar with. And to be honest, it's one of those videos where the title of this video, I could probably just chuck the title up and that will be enough for some people to kind of click them out of that procrastination cycle that they might be in. Let me just move this. There we go. The procrastination cycle they might be in, the title alone might be enough, which is awesome, right? It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Because procrastination is kind of a mad one, you know. If you actually look up the definition of procrastination, you might be surprised. It's effectively delaying the inevitable. I'm paraphrasing there, but you're delaying something that you have already decided you are going to do. And when you hear it like that, you're like, well, that just makes me sound dumb. If I know I'm going to do something, why am I delaying it? Why do we procrastinate? I think a lot of procrastination is stemmed from fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure. It's probably the two big ones that kind of spring to mind straight away for me. But the thing that separates the people from do and the people that don't are the people that put those thoughts to the back of their heads. They're not scared of failing. In fact, they probably accept, if you go back to episode 1 of this whole series, this whole YouTube channel, podcast, it was just embrace sucking. And that is the best way to get through procrastination, is to realize that whatever you start, you're going to suck at it. And guess what? Even when you've been doing it a while, you're gonna have off days. Think about what you do day to day in your life, whatever it may be. There's days where you should be really good at it, right? But for whatever reason on that day, you just sucked. Playing a sport, cooking a meal, it could be anything. I don't know, absolutely anything. So I think there's a genuine thing where you just have to embrace that fact that you are going to suck when you first start anything. And the other thing is that you are going to fail. You are. Like when you first start something, you'll get it wrong. You'll fuck it up. It won't be perfect, but that's okay. I'm going to say that like 5 or 6 times in this episode, because eventually it will get into your brains and you'll realize like, God, yeah, it actually is okay for it not to be perfect. You know, I think it's a mad one, procrastination. It really is. Because especially when you go back to that definition, if you're like, okay, so I'm already going to do it, why the hell aren't I doing it? And I think the best place to start with that is to actually write down, pen or paper, or, you know, I use my notes app on my computer and my phone a lot. Write down why you're doing, or why you want to do the thing that you're procrastinating on. So what is the thing you're procrastinating on, and why are you doing it? Not why are you procrastinating on it, why are you trying? Why have you said to yourself you're going to do it? And then reverse engineer it, a little bit like a habit, right? Because it might not be a new habit you're trying to think. It might just be a one-off task, a project, whatever it might be, a piece of work, a conversation that you need to have. You know you need to have this conversation, but you're putting it off. Why do you need to do it? Write that down, and then you can kind of logically reverse engineer it in your head. And hopefully that will kind of kick you out of the procrastination cycle, and you'll realize, well, I've already decided I'm going to do it. I've got to do it at some point. If I get it done, I'm not going to have to worry about it. So that's going to be great. And actually, that's a really good point. The longer you procrastinate on something, the more this sort of pressure builds up on the dam. And that pressure is worry and stress because you're thinking about doing the thing. If you just did the thing, you would save yourself the worry of doing the thing because you'd have done it, right? And like, let's be honest, what's the primary first thought that most of us have after we have done the thing that we've been procrastinating on? For me, always, it's, why didn't I just do that sooner? It's always the way. And I'm having so many conversations with people at the moment. You know, it's that time of year, it's January, and everyone's, you know, not everyone, but a lot of people are excited. They want to try new things and be better themselves and all that. I love it all, right? But they're in that phase, some people still, where they're like, I'm gonna do this, or I wanna do this. And my answer is, okay, well, do it now, right now, today. Oh, well, I can't do that because I can't do that because of this. Yeah, okay, maybe you can't go bungee jumping today, but if it's something online or a conversation you need to have or a piece of work you need to do or go to the gym for the first time or whatever else it might be, you can do it today. Stop putting off and just do it. I think the other thing as well, right, which hopefully this will help with procrastination if you are procrastinating, is we look at the problem like this big brick wall in front of us. It's huge and it's very scary, it's massive. But rather than focusing on the wall, focus on each individual brick and just focus on that one brick at a time. It's like climbing the mountain, right? You don't look at the whole mountain and think, fuck me, that's big. You just look one step in front, one step in front, one step in front, always thinking the next step in front. This is very relevant if you're like starting a business, right? You look at these businesses that are established, that are maybe 10, 20, 100 steps ahead of you and you're like, bloody hell, like I can't even imagine getting there. Good, you don't need to worry about getting there. You just need to worry about getting one step in front. People who are looking to lose weight. Oh my God, it's gonna be so hard to lose 10 kilos. Well, why don't you just practice losing, well, not practice, why don't you lose one and then worry about the next one? So breaking the problem down, just focus on one thing at a time, one step at a time is gonna really help. I've already kind of touched on the next one, but writing stuff down, like actually physically getting it out of your head. I don't know what it is, but there's something psychological about removing the thought and putting it on either a piece of paper or a computer screen and actually looking at the words objectively and being like, okay, that's not as scary when it's written down, when it's in my head. Because when it's in your head, there's a lot of emotion attached to it. When it's on a screen or a piece of paper, there's no emotion attached to it. You can look at it objectively. So write it down. Get people to hold you accountable. This is a huge one. I think I've touched on it before. But if you're going to do something, great, fantastic, congratulations. Tell people you're going to do it. And then ask them. In fact, demand they hold you accountable. I do this naturally because I do it with my clients. I hold my friends to an even higher standard. If my friend says to me, like, I'm going to do this, I will literally text them at 5 in the morning. Have you done it? Have you done it? I've got a friend of mine at the moment. Literally, I can show you the messages. He started a YouTube channel. Loved it. He's got a great message to spread. He's got a very a specific topic he wants to talk about based on his own personal experiences. And he started uploading videos, was consistent, and then dropped off. And I said to him, you need to be on it every single day. There are no excuses. Upload, upload, upload. Just like this. You don't need to overthink it. And that leads us nicely on to the next one. Do not overthink this stuff. Do not try to be perfect, because guess what? It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Just get it done. The other things I would say around this are probably the ones that you might not even think about. If you're struggling to get stuff done, look at how you're fueling your body. And I mean this in two ways. Number one is this stuff, the old agua, water. Water is kind of the unknown fuel of the body. We think of food as our fuel, right? And it absolutely is. Calories and the quantity and the quality of those calories are going to fuel you. But water is also essential. In fact, it's arguably more essential because you can last a lot longer without food than you can without water, right? But are you hydrated? Are you struggling to do stuff because your body just isn't fueled right? You have to remember, like, the chemical breakdown of water is hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen is required for blood, for muscles to contract, for your brain to function, for cognitive function. If you're dehydrated, no wonder you can't get shit done. So are you hydrated and are you fueled? There's a great example of this. After the one of the variants of that thing that was going around a couple of years ago, which I'm not going to say because it triggers algorithms. After one of those variants, it hit me hard, and it'd been like 3 weeks I had recovered, but because I'd been kicked out of my routine of training, of movement, of steps and all this stuff, my life had changed, my habits had changed, and as a result, I didn't realize it was a subconscious thing, but I was eating a lot less. And because I've done this for a long time and I've worked with a lot of people, my brain goes, okay, do the audit. So I do a calorie audit, and I was eating only like 1,800 calories, which for me is very little. You know, at the time I was working as a personal trainer, face-to-face, in person. So I was walking a lot, I was lifting a lot of weights, I was talking to a lot of people, I was on my feet all day. You know, my maintenance calories when you're a personal trainer, if you're busy, is like 3,500, 4,000 if you're big like I am. And I was probably having like 1,800. It's like, well, no wonder I wasn't feeling up to doing anything, and the slightest challenge was putting me off. So making sure you're fueled, plenty of water, plenty of food as well. I think that's the main bits, guys. What are we on? 10 minutes. Yeah, I think we leave it there. I think the main message is the title. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that's okay. Procrastination is a decision you've already made. You have already decided you're going to do it. People, if you think about, like really think about this actually, what's the longest you've ever procrastinated on something? For me, it's probably years. I remember when I'll tell you a story to finish up actually. When I first decided I wanted to leave the UK permanently, probably like 6 years ago, maybe, I can't remember, but a long time ago. And then obviously a lot has happened in the middle. Again, we're not going to talk about it, but we know what's happened, which obviously slowed things down. It made it impossible to go anywhere, do anything. I obviously changed careers in that time, so there was a lot going on. Anyway, it got to the summer of 2020, or no, it got to like the autumn, winter of 2022. I've lost track of the years. 2022, yes, it was 2022. We're in 2024, well done, Doug. And I realized that I was still telling people I was gonna do this thing. But for a couple of months now, I'd had no excuse. I had no reason why I couldn't do it. I had a remote job, which was paying me a good salary. And so I had the freedom to move. I didn't really have any more connections in London. I was single. There was literally nothing holding me back. And so I was like, okay, so the only thing holding me back now is procrastination. Why am I procrastinating on that? It was because of fear of the unknown in this case. God, moving to a new country, that's scary. You're not going to know anyone. How does it work? Is that legal? Is that not legal? Is this okay? Lots of unanswered questions. But it got to the point where I was like, I'm never going to know the answers to these questions until I just do the thing. So on the 1st of January, 2023, I booked an Airbnb for March the 1st and a flight. One way, baby. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to book I booked 2 months, March and April 2023. And I was like, what's the worst that could happen? And here I am now, a year later, living here with a residency. So yeah, people can procrastinate on all sorts of things. You can procrastinate your life away. And if you are doing that, hopefully this video has helped. Cool. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching and listening, of course.